Hello, this is Markus with Coke Group. I'm recording a quick video showing some of our AI capabilities. This is a video about something that we get a lot of questions about, so I decided to just record a short video. And this has to do with how we create content, especially graphical content, for a lot of the magazine stuff we're doing. So let me switch over to my screen here. What we're seeing is an in-house application. We use one of the many parts of our system. This happens to be an old Windows application that was retrofitted with a lot of AI functionality. This is a system that manages our entire business. So one of the things we do is we publish a magazine. We also have other things in here, like things related to our training classes, things related to our consulting business, things relating to our staffing business. But today we want to take a look at our article system. So here in this application, we have a database of all articles that code ever published in its history. And so we could just randomly pick one of the articles. Let's maybe pick something a little bit newer. Doesn't really matter. Just randomly picking something. Hosted solutions, I have no idea what this article is about. Here is our screen that we use to manage this article. So this is information about the article, the name, the author that wrote that article, the actual content of the article that we have in here. And we could do some interesting things in here with a Copilot. We have a Copilot built in here, and we could let it do various things. For instance, we could say, generate me an abstract for this article. And this will process in the AI and it'll read the article for us and give us an abstract. Or I could say this abstract here is really not very good. Let's generate a new abstract right into this. Or I could simply choose to accept what it created here. So now this abstract is in the system. So that's a typical Copilot. But we want to take this a step further. One of the things that we like to do on our website is every time we have any kind of content on our website. Let me bring up the site here for a moment. So when you go to codemac.com go to our recent event series here, for instance, we have in here is we have various older events in here. And as you see, when I click into this event to get the description of what this particular webinar was all about, there's a piece of art associated with it here in the header. And if I make it smaller, that changes a little bit. And if I was to share this on social media, there's different pieces of artwork that go with that. So the idea is every piece of content we put out with Code Magazine is supposed to have artwork like this. But we have tens of thousands of articles. It would be very, very expensive to do this manually. Therefore, we now have this generate art button here on our interface, and I can open up my UI for that, and in here I can type in a prompt to figure out some piece of art. So what idea do we have? I don't know, I was just watching some soccer the other day, so let's say a team of geeks playing soccer let's do something absurd on a floating iceberg, but in the tropics. Okay, and I can click suggest image button, and now an AI will go out and generate an image for that. In fact, I'm going to do it twice, so we have two different things to look at. So I can come up with some idea that goes with this article, and then supposedly generate some piece of art that we could use with this, rather than using a human designer to actually do this. And this takes a few seconds, but you'll see the art will now load, and we're going to get some absurd piece of imagery based on the prompt that we just specified there. Okay, so here is our two versions, actually pretty good. Let's bring up a more detailed view of this. So here is what it created based on our simple description, and it even gave us what it thought the description really should be. It said, oh, well, here's a little bit more of a detailed version of that. But so we have that. That's kind of cool. But of course, this doesn't match in any way what our article is all about, which was about hosted solutions in this particular case. And because we're a computer magazine, it's always a little difficult to come up with ideas because we do database articles, we do web development articles, performance tuning articles. And it's always the same thing. Oh, another database article. What is a good piece of visual art that goes with the database article? Oh, it's about performance. Okay, well, another rocket ship. So it's difficult, right? Because these concepts are very abstract. But so what we made here is we made another button called Suggest a Prompt. When I click this, an AI kicks in. The AI reads and comprehends the entire article and then tries to come up with a new original idea for it. So here it says, create an image that represents the concept of hosted solutions and infrastructure choices in software development. Show floating islands, coincidentally, I guess, with futuristic, minimalistic buildings that look like they're built from clean tech architecture. Have transparent streams of data fluidly connecting the islands in a serene sky, blah, blah, blah. It also does things like possible art styles, futuristic tech with a minimalistic twist, bold and contrasted colors, and so on. So it goes and puts in all these things. It also puts in potential pop culture references. It thought Blade Runner or Iron Man is a good reference, or Tron, or puts in visual ideas such as floating islands, digital clouds, sleek futuristic gear, serene landscapes, and so on. So all of these are concepts that it came up with based on reading the article and is trying to come up with an original idea for it. Now I could now modify that, fine tune it, or maybe I'm not happy with it at all. I ask it to suggest another prompt for us. But in this case, okay, it didn't work. Let's try that one more time. In this case, we'll just let it run with what it's generating. Gives us another bad request. It might be a little bit long here. I don't know. Let's just try it one more time. Maybe we'll suggest another prompt as well and try that. Because now we got multiple AIs all working, overlapping. And of course, it also depends on what I've done before. Like we might be hitting quota limits and other issues. But this now actually succeeded. It also created another suggestion for us. But here is what it generated out of this basic idea that it came up with on its own. So this is very interesting. We now had an AI read an article, comprehend what it's about, understand what kind of concepts it could use for that, came up with original ideas for it, and then generates a piece of art like this. So that's interesting, and I guess I'm over my quota here, so I'm going to remove that also, but we're going to run with this particular piece of art here, and now we can open that in yet another piece of artificial intelligence, which is our image composer. So this image composer now takes the art that we generated and overlays it with various pieces of information, such as the name of the article and the author. And we have different versions of that. The version then has a logo. It understands what logo to use, understands what logo goes well color-wise with our current setup. It also creates different sizes of this. Like this, for instance, would be an Instagram version. And it's just smart enough to position all these elements. And we could now manipulate that a little bit and say, no, I still want that to be up here, and I want this to be a different version of that particular logo, and so on. So whatever I want to do, I could preview the final version here, and if I'm happy with it, I say, go attach this, and it will then create appropriate attachments in our system. And if you were now to go to look at this particular article, you would now see that all these different pieces of art have now been attached to that article appropriately.